Well, welcome. Thank you all for being here today. Tomorrow we get to open up with game lights and uniforms and another opponent, so we're really excited about that. It feels too warm to be in basketball season, but we're really excited for that to come. We're ready to play another opponent and learn. There's a lot that I've loved about this team, a maturity, experience. Something we've really challenged them in going into this season is being more player-led, having more player accountability, and we've seen some really good growth in that. So I think the biggest thing from our perspective is we're ready to learn more, and through the course of the season, figure those things out and keep getting better.
Are we doing mics or just?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to shoot.
Okay.
Nationally, you've received some recognition.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Big Ten polls, not even in the top 5. Should that be considered a level of disrespect, or do you just not want them to even broach that?
Well, I think there's a few things with that. I think being ranked nationally preseason, to me, is a testament of what we've done in the past. A lot of times that's a lot of what has happened. Which is a good thing for our program, but we also know last year was last year. In the league, I think it's a testament to how good the league is. Last year, having 12 teams in our league, almost 13, make the NCAA tournament out of 18 teams, that's incredible depth. I mean, almost night in, night out, we were playing an NCAA tournament level game. So we don't worry too much about that. We know that the season is what matters. The season's going to write out the story. But getting national recognition, I'm grateful. I think that's been a testament to how our program has really been growing.
Do you have a sense what you think the identity of this team will be relative to what it looked like last year?
Yeah, well, there's some staples of how we play. Our hope is we're deeper. Our hope is that we're going to have more multidimensional scoring. Across the board. I think last year we scored a lot off our defense. I'm not sure if that'll look quite the same. Our job as a staff is to figure out as we start playing other opponents what we're good at and try to do more of it. Last season, I thought we were good at stealing the ball. And so we tried to find ways to do more of that than we even did our first year, right? In our first year, we were really good at shooting the 3. So we tried to find ways to maximize that. So it's hard when you're playing yourselves because it's hard to really figure out because you know each other so well. But as a staff, that'll be up to us to pay attention to that. And there's some concepts and philosophies of how we play that we stay true to, and then figuring out how to maximize this group.
How are you attempting to avoid final losses with the A role?
I think one thing that is fun about coaching new teams is it's never about filling a void. It's about creating a new team. And Julia left a legacy here. She had a great career. Her last 2 years especially, she's such a special part of our program. But we never put an expectation on any player to be somebody else or to fill those shoes. We just try to figure out how we become a really good team with this group.
When you say player,
Mm-hmm.
what does that look like? Is that different
Yeah.
expectations of what that looks like?
It looks like they know what's going on, and they take accountability in that. And they peer-to-peer, one of the strongest forms of motivation, one of the strongest forms of momentum is peer-to-peer conversations. Think of that in our own lives. I think of that with my children. One of the strongest motivators is when you hear the truth from somebody in your cohort. That tends to be more motivating. So that's something we've been pushing to do that. You have to know what's going on. You have to have some courage. You have to be able to receive it. You have to be able to give it. And I think when there's high trust level, those things happen. And in the middle of a game, sometimes it's said nicely and sometimes it's not. But if there's a high trust, it's for the right reasons.
Grace and Abby were the ones selected captains. What have they kind of shown you in that regard?
Just a focus on the group. I think they've done a good job of working hard, paying attention, caring about the team, making sure that we're doing what we need to do. In our program, you run for captain and you have to explain why you want to be captain. You don't just run for it. You have to have a a platform and a reason for it. And, their mission is the group. Their mission is, and interesting, Grace has had a huge impact on our program immediately. And then Abby's had experience of playing every role. Very rarely does a student athlete literally experience every possible role through their career. And for her to still show up and really care about the team and put the team first, I think that was reflected in her getting voted captain.
You've been able to do well out of the portal. Talk about, I guess, and Farron would never, say that she's had a lot on her plate, but it looks like you brought in some players that are going to be able to give her more relief at the point, and maybe she'll play a little more too.
Mm-hmm.
So how will that, I guess, enhance her play?
Yeah, well, the more good players we have, the better we all are. That's one of my favorite parts about basketball, is that when you get a group that relies on each other and you get more good players doing that, everybody's job becomes a little bit easier. And so, through the development of our returners, through players that we've added through the portal, through freshmen, that's the goal, is how do we keep creating more high-level players, and ultimately makes the game easier for everybody.
You mentioned needing to play somebody else. Obviously, the competition
Yeah.
is different to a certain point. What are you most curious about with this group? Like, what do you not know yet?
I love that you asked that, Graham, because I feel like we know a lot and yet we know nothing. Like when the game lights come on and it's real and it all counts, you learn a lot, because in practice, what does that mean? It's different in the game, right? What are our best lineups? What are our best rotations? Who's best together? Who can you count on in clutch moments? Who can remember an adjustment, right? Those are all things that when the game lights are on are different than practice. They are. As much as you try to simulate practice to be like a game, I think you learn a lot in the game. And that's what we've shared with our team. I think right now we're going to keep evaluating. I always say we don't guess and check. We watch tons of film. We use tons of data. And we're going to keep paying attention to best lineups and how we can be successful.
You learned and liked about the freshman class.
They're hoopers. They love to play. They're gym rats. They're kids who love basketball. And, for me, something I share with the team is like, I'm very drawn to people who are passionate. Like, be passionate about something, right? Have something that makes you tick and you get excited about and you want to work towards, whether it's basketball, piano. They just have that beautiful Beauty and the Beast at the Wharton. Like, whatever that is for you, I'm so compelled by people who bring passion into a space, and our freshmen have that.
What about the transfers that you brought in, what you kind of noticed from them?
Yeah. Experience. They've all played a ton of college basketball. They've played high-level college basketball, and so there's a quick learning curve. They've when we talk about different ways we guard or different actions, or they've played a lot. So their ability to pick up on some of the new things we're doing and translate it has been really good.
Grace, the attention she got last season, how do you think that helped her grow as a basketball player? So overall,
Yeah. Well, Grace also just works really hard. So she's someone who just keeps developing, regardless of, she's somebody who has a plan for what every day looks like. She loves basketball. She loves getting better at it. I think this summer her experience with USA basketball was so helpful, playing against the best players, with the best players, and what that looks like. There's so much that goes into trying to win a gold medal, right? It's like every box out, rebound, make the extra pass. Like, how do you play at the highest level? And, her coming back with a gold medal in that and playing with and against the best and then sustaining her work. It's not like she came back and was like, oh, I want a gold medal, time to chill out. She's someone we can count on every day that's going to put in the work to keep getting better. We saw a picture. We've had a picture, but we haven't gotten like a tangible gold medal feel yet. Yeah, she's got to keep that in a special spot.
So obviously with the exhibition game tomorrow, it won't count for real stats or anything, but how would you use that data to kind of figure out things along the season?
Well, I love that tease the team that when the game lights are on, the popcorn's popping, right, things change, right? You put on your real uniform, you got to do a full warm-up, play in the Breslin. Just getting that experience, for right now it's feedback. What we're getting is more information to help us as a staff, help us as a team, continue to put us in positions to be ready through a non-conference schedule and through a really tough Big Ten league. But what's really cool about the Michigan 10, about the Michigan Tech exhibition game is we have a cool backstory with that. So Coach Cameron, our associate head coach, was the head coach there for 8 seasons and actually left Michigan Tech as the all-time winningest coach in school history. And took her team to a national championship game there. And then Coach Kaza played at Michigan Tech and was an assistant there and was on multiple Elite 8 teams. So pretty cool moment for our staff, kind of for that to 10 years ago, they were on the other bench. They played Michigan State in an exhibition game and Kim was the head coach. So 10 years later, for this to kind of come full circle too, is a cool moment for our staff.
What did you learn from yourself in 2 years now? What are your takeaways 2 years being in charge of the program?
Yeah.
You guys obviously changed in the middle of that.
Yep.
What the program needs and what sort of things you learned that this program needs to get where you want to go.
One specific is rebounding, the defensive rebounding piece. And when you press and when you pressure and how do you sustain that, that's just so important. When you look at the best teams in our league, that is something they do really, really well. They do not give up a lot of second shots. And so that's something we've spent a lot of time on. Last year, we became a much better offensive rebounding team. We want that to continue to evolve. But the defensive rebounding piece of the best teams in our league, the best teams in the country, they just don't give you a lot of chances. And we got to find ways to be better at that. Last year we stole the ball a lot to win possessions, but we have to match that also with keeping people to one shot.
Is that hard to do when you're a team that puts a lot of...
Oh, it's harder, but it's just as important. Yeah.
About Cameron and Kaza having this moment
Yeah.
in the exhibition game. When you started at Bowling Green, your first game was actually here. At
Oh, yeah.
Michigan State. So you got to have that moment, and then a couple years ago,
Yeah.
you get to experience it from the Michigan State side. What
Yeah.
was that moment like for you, and what do you expect that they'll be able to experience in this one?
My moment when I was at BG.
When you came back at Michigan State,
Oh,
as head coach, and you're
yeah.
like, oh, this is a full circle thing.
Oh, it was cool, and I was very nervous. You walk out, you're like, oh gosh. I remember our first game we played Oakland. But I remember my first game at Bowling Green, everybody was like, this is so cool, because the schedule was planned before I became the head coach. So I didn't plan the game. Everybody's like, oh, it's so cool you get to go back home for your first game. I was like, sort of. Like, I don't know how cool this is going to be. Because at the time we took over a program that was rebuilding too. But how life intersects and how the game of basketball is small. And, these are sacred moments when you can when you just see things intersect and be grateful for the places you've been and the opportunity that we get here at Michigan State.
No, it's fine. I missed it, so
Any questions?
How is the health of our team?
Yeah.
Physical health?
Well, Julianna's coming back, so she started really kind of getting way more intermixed in practice now, so we're excited about that. And then Inez Sotelo has a foot injury, so she's going to be out for the beginning of the season. We're hoping to have her back sooner than later. And she had also had an awesome summer and has really come back an improved player, so we'll be happy to get her back.
Is that like a December, January thing, or is that even earlier than that?
I don't know for sure. We're hopeful it's sooner than later. We're hopeful to have her back by conference, maybe before then. But just say some prayers, and we want to make sure she's healthy, but we'll be excited to get her back soon.
I guess I don't know if it's already asked and answered. Sorry about that. But with all the roster turnover, who have you seen sort of step up from the players in terms of
Yeah.
leadership in the locker room?
Well, I think our leadership overall, we've had a better collective leadership. I think we're also older. And so some of these things they've heard for a while. So they're in a better space to be able to own that, to have an ownership around that. You know, a player that we feel like has taken a big leap from where she was a season ago. I mean, I could talk about a lot of our kids, but Kennedy Blair for sure has taken a big leap from her freshman year where she was out. Last year, you know, she definitely got some moments, and this year she's really put in a lot of work in this off season and has taken a big step forward. Yeah, we're so thrilled to have Isa back, and to be out 2 full seasons, and that's hard, right? The patience through that, the courage through that. And one thing with her being out 2 years, I've absolutely picked up on with her. She's learned a lot about the game. Like I think of even 2 years ago when she was playing to now, just her feel and understanding of what's going on has gotten a lot higher. And she makes us, you know, she gives us a lot of versatility, gives us a different look, a lot of size, you know, a real rim protector, can guard, you know, we have good size in our league. So it just gives us some versatility with matchups and gives us a different look. So it's been great having her back. All right. Go green. See you all tomorrow night.